Good day, everyone. This is Pilot Niels, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at latest DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculata.
Hey now, everybody, how's it going?
Another Drac. How are things going on over in Barovia?
All these people running around with these lanterns all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on with this. It's just really weird.
Okay, so things are getting strange over there, then.
Things are strange in Barovia, for sure. I must consult with Madame Ava to find out what's going on.
Okay, we'll see what kind of news she'll bring. But in the meantime, let's look at some other news, such as we had a release of update 69.4. What changed in there?
This was a couple weeks ago. This was on October the 9th. Not a lot in this little short update, but the raid, Threats Old and New, did properly grant the favor with its Patreon for completing it. So that's always a plus. You do something, you expect to get some favor for doing it. So now you will. And then the quest giver will now give he will now have a quest chalice over his head as expected. Because if you remember, we did talk about that. You could still go into the raid and get the raid, and he just didn't have the chalice over his head.
Well,
now he does.
A lot in DDO.
Yeah, it kind of does, actually. And then the big thing with this release was the spoiled 2023 Night Rebels ingredients, and the keys now have their correct names, and they are now bound to accounts, and they are now spoiled, and you can now not put them in the auction house because people were being naughty and putting the spoiled ones in the auction house because it didn't say spoiled. We talked about that as well. And then 2024 Night Rebels keys and ingredients now have the correct expiration date of 2025 as well. So that was it. Just the major thing was to fix the little thing with the raid and to get the Night Rebels oopsie taken care of.
All right. And is 69.4.1 an even smaller patch?
It is a super small patch, but a important one nonetheless. Maybe we'll talk about that later on in the show. Yes, update 69.4.1 was released just this past Wednesday on October the 16th. Be prepared, sit down. This is going to take a while to go through these notes, so grab a drink.
Despite my spoiler that it was a super small patch.
In spite of that, it's going to take a while. Here we go. A repair has been made to the game's line of sight code to prevent an error that was impacting game performance. No changes have been made to gameplay mechanics due to this change, i.e., they did something to try to fix the lag.
Yep, we can hope it helped.
Spoiler alert, it did not.
Well, it maybe addressed that particular type of
maybe will again.
There are other sources. Oh, you have
again. Stay tuned for later in the show. You'll hear about my lag story.
Okay, fine. then let's go and see the attempts at taking care of one of the pillars of lag, and that being the server size in there, because there was another preview test for the 64-bit server, right?
There was. This just took place last week. It was October 17th through October the 18th. Once again, now closed. Got another look at the Lanterns in the Mist preview, which we will talk about here in a moment. And then, as you said, this was the second 64-bit server test. They didn't wipe any of the characters, so if you took place in the first one, you could just log into your character, blah, blah, blah. If you wanted to copy somebody over, you could do that as well. There was a couple things that they were taking a look at. They, which we are going to speak of in a moment, they did do some ranged combat changes for crossbow users. That was the big thing besides the Lanterns event that they were testing. And then also, spoiler alert for a few moments into the show as well, some of the things that we're about to talk about on the live game worlds, they were fixed on the 64-bit server. It's really timey-wimey and weird, because it's like a totally different place, but it's the same place, but they're fixing things that are not on the live. It's really weird.
Well, isn't that the purpose?
That is exactly the purpose.
Server to fix the thing. It's just that normally you don't play. encounter a bug.
Right.
I guess encounter things working beautifully over the test server.
Right.
Get through the
So they did the range combat changes, which we're about to talk about, and then the chest that dropped from the champions in the Night Rebels, Crystal Cove and Snow Peaks. So if you are running, like during when those events are going on, the Crystal Cove, Night Rebels, and the Snow Peaks, if you are running a quest on Hard or Above and you get champions in that quest, you might get the Night Rebels, Crystal Cove, or Snow Peaks champions in that quest. And then if you kill that champion, you will get a special Night Rebels, Crystal Cove, or Snow Peaks chest. Those chests are now going to turn red after 3 minutes, and they will disappear after a minute. So those chests are only going to be around for 4 minutes. They were testing this. That is due to everybody's favorite word, exploit.
Oh, people
yes. There was a pretty, let's just say, well-known exploit that was going on with that. So yeah, that's why that change was put in.
Chest drop from champions and Night Rebels and now turn red. And I guess I just don't have the imagination of a exploiter there. So
remind me later to tell you what was going on about that.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm pretty sure I know what people were doing and how they were doing it. But and then frame rate should no longer drop so dramatically in the multi-level encounter room of Sword Crest Passage of White Plume Mountain, which I'm trying to remember exactly what the multi-level encounter room on the Sword Crest Passage is.
I think they're talking about the inverted ziggurat.
Oh, maybe that could be it.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
I didn't actually test White Plume on the 64-bit server, so yeah. Because really, and the only time on like the 32-bit servers, the only time I ever really had issues with White Plume is the Giant Crab room. That one kind of lagged all the time for me and kind of slowed down, and my frame rate kind of went bleh. But I don't remember any other places in White Plume, but they fixed that, and then they have made some adjustments to several invisible dungeon monitors in the Shroud. That is to improve performance, particularly at the end of Part 1. Gameplay mechanics have not been changed. They reduced the visual effects that activate when a creature becomes frozen. That is to help game performance. Adjusted visual effects, that's a hard word to say, that activate for Alchemists, Bombardiers, Burning Ambition, also to help game performance. And mounts that aren't animals should no longer claim to be animals in the mount type, because carpets aren't animals. Who knew?
Well, but they are often made from hair.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but I would like to challenge that statement, because what if you have a camel hair carpet? That would be an animal, right? I'm just saying.
The camels aren't the only animals, I'm pretty sure, whose hair has been...
This is true.
I'm sure plenty of sheep hair, I'm sure, has also gone into carpets.
So yeah, this basically is some kind of feedback they had gotten from the first 64-bit server test. They looked at what was going on, and they're like, oh, hey, we see this is happening here, so we can tweak this. So they were testing it. Apparently they liked what was happening with it. More on that in a moment. A lot of little spoilers for future moments in the show today.
Oh, okay. or at least not necessarily spoilers, but sort of foreshadowing.
Right. Oh, there you go. Foreshadowing is a better word. There you go.
It's a very different word from spoiler.
Indeed. So,
right.
But yeah, the other big thing, I think the biggest thing they did, and this is going to be actually on the 32-bit worlds when Update 70 is released, is they are making some adjustments to repeating and dual crossbow styles. So if you are a plink, plink, pew, pewer, this is for you.
Oh, especially considering that I think I'm doing an arty for my solo character on Cormyr.
All right, okay. I was going to ask you if you decided what character you're going to do, because I assumed you would do a solo one.
If my solo character will be that, and I would like my dual player. Probably a Storm Singer would be a good one, since that would, I think, go well with you, because I'm sure you're doing a Night Hunter or
Dark Hunter, yeah, more than likely,
Dark
yes.
Hunter. Yeah, Dark Hunter most likely.
Of course. I am nothing but predictable that way.
Yes.
So, Steel Star said this is what's going on with these performance updates to the crossbow styles. It says, hello all. Part of our focus in Update 70 has been tracking down performance issues, and in this preview they are looking at a change meant to address one of the more common player reports related to performance, repeating and dual crossbow attack speed. After investigation, even without running endless fusillade, no holds barred, the current rate of fire does not seem to have negative impacts on the client or the server. Our other nearby hang on, did I read that right? Let's go back. The current rate of fire does seem I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Does seem
more consistent with the rest.
Yes, does seem to have negative impacts on the client, the server, and other nearby players when used by builds that are fully kitted out. Fusillade only exacerbates this, but in itself, it is not the root of the issue, which is why simply adjusting that would not be a sufficient fix. So what they have done is they have taken some measures to slow down both of these styles' attacks and reload speeds. To try and maintain the DPS of these styles, they have balanced this change around a corresponding buff. What they're going to do is they're going to remove the current double shot penalties, which currently is at negative 66 on repeating crossbows and negative 50 on dual crossbows. With that change, that is a lot, allowing both to benefit from 100% of your double shot score. In update 49, you might remember they changed how double shot worked, making it much more performance friendly for those styles to benefit from it now that it had been originally developed. So this is kind of bouncing off what they did in update 49. They made that double shot change. Now they're kind of making another change to that change they made. It's confusing, I know. They are definitely aware that these changes to attack speed are difficult adjustments. Some players will find a lot of fun in being able to just shoot fast. However, the performance gains in such an adjustment are important game-wide, which is why they're looking into making the change. Internally, the changes here make a significant difference in overall game performance, and we will begin looking to see if the same holds true for the preview. We strongly encourage anybody that was a crossbow build to try these out on the preview, which is now over. They did. And then he goes on to say, that said, here's a list of the changes in the build because they got a lot of feedback. So what is changing is, once we said they have removed the negative 66 double shot modifier from repeating crossbows and the negative 50 to dual crossbows. The timing between each shot on repeating crossbows, as well as the timing in each volley before the reload portion starts, have been increased slightly. The baseline, usually, which is invisible to players, attack speed of repeating and dual crossbows has been reduced slightly. Rapid reloads bonus for light repeating crossbows has been reduced from 65 to 35%. Rapid reload on the heavy repeating crossbows reduced 70 to 40%. Rapid reload on dual crossbows reduced 40 to 20%. And the bonus to reload speed from rapid shot for repeating and dual has also been reduced. They didn't say how much. When running endless fusillade, repeating crossbows now have a slight pause between each 3-shot volley to allow the server room to breathe a little. The server's like, whoa, dude, stop firing arrows, okay? Give me a second to think about what you just did. Then Inquisitive's T5 pass now grant plus 15 attack speed and plus 15 double shot, replacing the previous plus 30 attack speed. So that is our changes. And then from all of the feedback they got from everybody that piled onto the server and was like, let me test this stuff. They are making a couple other changes as well. And once again, this is based on player feedback from the Lamania, or no, well, Cormyr. I mean, technically it was the Lamania client, but the Cormyr server that was just up. Yeah, this thread was very, very popular. There was a lot of people that tested this, and I think they got some really good information out of all the players that tested this. Right. So Battle Engineer, Shatter Defense damage is going to change to plus 10, 30, and 50%. Thunder Shock weapons damage is changing to plus 50%. The Core 2 ML3 infused weapons now grant a plus 5 double strike and double shot, in addition to all of the current stuff. I don't play anybody that uses crossbows because personally I dislike crossbows. I'm more of a longbow person. So I can't speak to any of this. I know you're about the only one that can because you're the one that actually does use crossbows.
Yeah, but I never investigated strongly into the exact parameters of how much damage they were doing.
Oh, okay. Well, and that kind of makes sense for your playstyle too. But
yeah, for my playstyle, my playstyle has never been to drill down into the exact damage. So therefore, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out there who know a lot more about the.
Yes. So comment, send us an email, podcast@ddoplayers.com, because like I said, I'm just telling you what's here.
I'll find out what it's like
next
week.
Once we start playing on Cormyr, you can come back on the podcast and you can say, this sucks, or hey, this is great, whatever the case may be.
I no longer hear.
Yeah, thank God. God, that annoys me so much. Oh, that's another thing I hate about crossbows. I'm like, would you stop firing that crossbow? It's almost as bad as rune arms.
You don't like Arties, apparently.
Yeah, no, not really.
And that's why I played the Artie solo.
That makes perfect sense now. The Inquisitive Core 2 ML3 hit the streets now is granting a plus 5 double shot in addition to all the current stuff. Shoot first damage changes to plus 40. Shoot later's damage to plus 60. Shoot first and shoot later are now AoE ranged attacks that should shoot twice the dual crossbows. Well, that sounds kind of cool though. He says this should help alleviate some of the concerns that people had with some activated attacks don't feel as worth pushing due to the longer overall cycle. Upping their damage should help that some. Clearing trash is now slower. Again, upping the damage of existing AoEs and making some of the holdouts start being AoEs should help with that. They'll maybe not fill the entire gap. And low level has a little double shot in these builds. This adds 2 sources of about 5% around levels 3 and 4. So there you go. So that is some upcoming changes. All of the words that I just spoke are to help alleviate server performance. They feel this is one of the big points that they were seeing where the server is struggling and might be a source of some of the lag that we're seeing and server performance.
Yeah, because if you're ever on the same subserver as something that's inducing lag, then you're going to experience it even if there's no lag impactors in your own instance.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the nature of the beast. So we'll see. We're pretty positive from what they said, these changes. The changes that they saw on the 64-bit server, they were really positive about, and they really saw that this did help the performance of the server overall. So once again, this will be on Cormyr and the regular game worlds as well when update 70 hits.
Okay, so that means now, so we've talked about the overall for the patch, and we talked about the performance issues. What about the Lanterns in the Mist?
Yes, we got another look at that with some changes from Preview 1. So if you listened to last episode where we were talking about the fun lantern event, a little bit has changed now. A major change is the lanterns are now using the cosmetic shield slot. So it's no longer going in your, and I just totally lost the word.
The trinket slot.
Trinket, thank you. I was like, what's that slot I was going in? Yes.
People complain about that.
Thank you. They did. I was one of them.
Yeah, because
I,
in fact, the character I was using when I was with you on the thing has true sight only because my trinket slot.
Oh, your trinket provides it. Yeah,
has the cloak and trinket for from the GMs.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I know Beaker, when we were playing, Beaker and I checked out Preview 1. I don't know what trinket he had slotted, but he lost like 100 hit points because having to take that trinket out. So yeah. So, and there was a lot. So thank you for making this change. So yes, the only, I guess, negative thing, if you're one of the odd people that like to have a cosmetic shield, I guess, sorry. It was the best option that most people wouldn't use, I guess. I mean, like I said, I'm sure there's some people out there that are really mad they can't have their cosmetic shield out now if they want to do this event. But you know, what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, there's that cosmetic shield from keeping the Borderlands.
Right. So if you're doing the Lanterns in the Mist event, you're not gonna have your cosmetic shield. So just keep that in mind. And then Lanterns will no longer have any quote combat stats since they occupy a cosmetic slot. So no death block or MRR. However, their Shine the Light ability will still function. Mist Stalkers are no longer appearing in the tutorial dungeon, so Salimus, you have less things to smite.
Yeah, that was. I still haven't figured out how in the world Mist Stalkers get into the tutorial dungeon.
I haven't either. I was trying to figure that out. Can somebody tell me how that's possible?
Actually, I think you said something about TRs, but then someone who's TR'd wouldn't have access to the lanterns either. Because I think they would have to rerun the lantern.
No, it persists through a TR. Oh. So if you completed the TR and you have the lantern already, you're flagged for it. If you TR, you're still flagged for it. You still have your lantern.
So that way it has the same amount of durability that it had before.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's how. But still, how are you going to get back to Korthos to do the grotto? Because I didn't think you could go back and do the grotto after you finished it. Or is there a way to go back and do the grotto?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Somebody answer this question for me, because I'm confused on how this is possible. Or I would see, and the only way the Mist Stalkers can pop is if you have a lantern. I wonder if somebody just like created a level 1, ran through the grotto, and there was a Mist Stalker, and they didn't have the lantern. Maybe that was it. Possibly.
Well, that would be. It was a completely bug then.
Yeah, it was like a bug because you're not supposed to get the Mist Stalkers unless you have a. Anyway, so you can't go through the grotto to get a Mist Stalker. Sorry. If you were looking forward to that, it's like, yeah.
Who would what? Okay, well, you do have this thing where you can't get killed in the grotto.
Sure. Anyway, so no Mist Stalkers in the grotto. Sorry. Okay. They also fixed an issue where Iconics, who agreed to be set to level 1 for a hardcore run, get their XP back when they lesser reincarnate. Oops.
Yeah, that was
fixed an issue with sometimes double Mist Stalker would spawn.
Ouch.
That would be fun. And they also fixed an issue with hardcore Reaper Lantern of the Order, not advancing on Reaper when fighting high-tier Mist Stalkers.
Well, that's a oops.
Yes, it is. Mist Stalker casters will use less cloud persistent AoE effects. Thank you for that, because I got killed to one of them. So, thank you. Mist Stalkers should be better about aggroing on the Lantern owner who revealed them, which, that begs a question. If you're in a party and, like, the whole, like, say you have 3-4 actual players in your party, and everybody has a lantern. I wonder how it determines who actually spawned the Mist Stalker.
They roll a 1d4?
Maybe. I never thought about that until they just fixed the aggroing on the lantern. So I guess you would know who actually found the Mist Stalker, because it's going to zone in on them.
Now, when I noticed that whenever a Mist Stalker appeared, there a sort of a lantern icon appears near you. Does it only appear near the person who summoned it, or does it appear near everybody?
It looked like only you, because I didn't notice that, and I only ever noticed that lantern appear over you, so I wonder if you were just pulling them all when we played. At least I never noticed it. The only way I knew we had Mist Stalkers is it was like the little, I call it the Ravenloft violin music, would play, and then there'd be mist, and then there'd be a Mist Stalker. That's the only way I knew there was one coming. But then you said something about the lantern, and then I paid attention. I'm like, oh yeah, I do see that little lantern. So, which I don't remember that from Preview 1 either. So I don't know if that was something new or not, or maybe I just didn't pay attention in Preview 1. People dying with the Hardcore Lantern equipped is now going to be announced, just like on the Hardcore server. So everybody's going to know, you messed up, you died. There is new audio and story stuff in the build to be found when hunting Miststalkers. The introduction is now fully voiced with the DM and all of that. Preview 1, it was not. Some Miststalkers have new special abilities. They turned on some of the Miststalker abilities. Dot damage is less aggressive. Because, there's some of the higher level Miststalkers can put dots and stuff on you. And it seemed like it was really crazy to me in build 1. And, of course, this time I ran it with you, so I only did it on normal, so I don't remember ever getting a dot, but that is supposed to be a little less aggressive. The intro quest has been tweaked. Once again, now has audio and also shows off the mount that you can get. He's there by the NPCs at the end of the quest now. And
is that the Sabertooth?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, when I first saw that Sabertooth, I thought it was a Sphinx.
Kind of, because of the head. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Because of the headdress that it's on.
The headdress.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Lantern progress is now affected by XP bonuses, such as experience elixirs, VIP, voice of the master, etc. So that's kind of cool. I didn't realize in the first build that wasn't affecting it. So anything you have that'll give you XP bonuses will also affect your lantern progress now. So there you go. So that's the changes.
That does explain something, because you probably had an XP buff going. Because I was wondering why.
I did.
I was wondering why we're getting different XP, whether it was because we were different levels or whether
that totally makes sense. Yes, because I was wearing my voice from the master, and then plus I had a XP elixir running as well. Okay, so that makes total sense.
I had voice of the master, but I didn't have a VP XP elixir. Okay,
that makes total sense now. So there you go. Once again, nothing. That was just the changes. The overall event hasn't changed at all. I mean, it's still you still go through the intro dungeon, and then you have the different lanterns you can pick from. We talked about it last week, so we won't rehash it. But we didn't get to talk to you about it, though. So what do you think about the event overall? Because I'm kind of curious to see what you think of the event.
Well, let's see, because this reminds me a little bit of the Wraith event that we have on the 64-bit servers on Lotro side. Big difference being that on the Cormyr side, on the Cormyr side, on the DDO side, it's an opt-in thing. In other words, if your group, because obviously one person has a lantern, it's going to potentially happen in any case. But if your group doesn't want to have these Miststalkers popping in all over the place or anything like that, they don't have to equip a lantern, or they don't have to get a lantern or anything like that. They won't have to worry about the event.
As long as nobody in your group has one equipped, yes.
Right. While over on the Lotro side, while it doesn't happen there are several instances where they won't appear, storyline instances and stuff like that. But anywhere on the landscape, since Lotro has much more going on in the landscape than you have in DDO, once you hit level 10, those things can pop up at any time, and there's nothing you do in order to turn it off.
Oh, really? So it's not like you don't have like a item equipped to make it happen. It just happens. You're just stuck with it. Okay. Interesting.
And and I know that before they did some tweaking on the matter, it was very, very frustrating. Especially when at level 10, they have these abilities called corruptions. And Lotro, and you have these things with heavy corruptions coming at you at level 10, but you don't have anything to deal with corruptions until you're level 20.
Well, that's awkward.
Yeah, they changed it so that they will not start putting in corruptions until they hit level 20 or anything like this. And thus you could get them quite a bit of. So they're random and at landscape, and when they could pop up potentially every 5 minutes. You kill a creature, and when you kill a creature, that creature assuming it has been 5 minutes since the last one you spawned, you go and spawn another one of these wraiths, and they come out and spend a little time, start bringing dread into the area, and then, hello, you're under attack now. The worst case scenario, though, of course, is if you're at level cap near that, you might spawn one of the 9, in which case you need the entire server in order pretty much to kill it.
Okay, so the Mistwalkers aren't quite that bad.
Yeah, the Mistwalkers. So, yeah, I like the idea that there is a way that if you want to chill out and not have to worry about these things, you could do so. So far, it's like, all right. I mean, I do find that intro quest to be a little bit on the annoying side, I guess. And I noticed that I did see the thread relating to that in there. And I was at first thinking, before I read that thread, I said, well, this sounds like a perfect Drac quest. And seeing your responses on there, I said, well, maybe not.
It was better. I don't know if it's just because I ran it once, but it was much better on Preview 2 because I ran it to record it, which there is a video up if you want to see the quest.
Right.
Because I wanted to show out the quest and the cosmetics and the mount. So yeah, it was better this time. Then I still don't know if you take a rogue, because I play mainly rogues or dark hunters, ranger rogues. So I inherently put a bunch into hide and everything. So I know I did it on my warlock and it sucked. It was really, really bad.
Well, I did it on 2 characters. One of them was a level 8. Let's see. I did it on a druid. That was the level 13 I did it. And the other one was an 8. I guess that was a wild mage. So that was a sorcerer and a druid. Not exactly 2 classes known for their stealth.
Right, exactly.
And I got through it on both of them. Now, the first week, on the first preview, I only had time to try that once. And I did not make it through. Of course, not knowing how the dungeon works, because if you don't know how that quest works,
yeah,
you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, it's there's a slight learning curve to it, but once you kind of figure it out, I actually don't think it's as bad. But then again, I haven't done it on a non-rogue character again. Yeah. So when the 64-bit server comes up, I will create a non-rogue character and I'll see what my opinion of it is. But
if I can get through it,
right,
rogue character, I think
right, anybody can, exactly. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, there is a video if you, for some reason, have not seen the quest yet. Go over to DDO Players. There's a post up. There's a video. I took a look at it, did some video. I basically did the whole quest and then showed off the cosmetics and the mount. But
yeah. I do think it's a little longer than it needed to be.
That is still my opinion. That quest is way too long. Yeah. I mean, I get what they're doing, and they're trying to build the story because you talk to other people and you read the tablets and you get the whole story. I get that aspect of it, but yeah, it's really way too long.
Oh, I have yet to read the first tablet because I'm just saying, no, I'm going there to get out of here as fast as possible.
I just want out of this silly place. And another thing that still kind of annoys me is if you, like, for example, like you're doing your solo character, and then I assume you're going to have a character that we're going to run on Cormyr together.
I think I said earlier that I was thinking of a Stormsinger, but I think a Wild Mage might even be interesting.
You're going to have to run that quest twice because each character has to flag, which that annoys me. Like, I don't understand why can't it just be an account flag? It's like, okay, you did it, you flagged, you know what the misdemeanor is. Cool, your account's flagged.
Okay, now I ask you, has DDO ever done that for anything?
It's a good question. I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything, but I'm sure there's some people yelling right now going, they did, and it was blank. Podcast at DDOplayers.com. Email us or respond and tell me if they did, but I don't know. It just seems like that's something they could do. It's just annoying to me that, and like, I'm going to create a character that I'm probably going to run with Beaker too. So I'm going to have to run this stupid quest 3 times now. to get flagged every time. I don't know.
Right.
That's minor nitpick, I guess. But so are you excited for this? Like, do the rewards that you can get, are they exciting enough for you that you're like, yeah, I'm excited to run this event?
Well, first of all, the rewards are going to be only for the characters that you have on Cormyr, right?
No.
Oh, they do flag.
They will, yes, you're, it's going to be similar to how hardcore, they don't have it quite worked out yet, how the trade-off is going to go, but if you, whatever rewards you unlock on Cormyr, on the 32-bit worlds, you'll be able to talk to an NPC and get them on the 32-bit worlds too. The event is not on the 32-bit. Like the Lanterns event is only Cormyr. Right. So keep that in mind. But any rewards you unlock, so if you get the mount or if you get the cloak, you can get them on the 32-bit servers as well. They haven't, as of right now, last I knew, they didn't quite have it worked out, but it's probably going to be like an NPC. It's similar to how hardcore works.
Yeah. It might even be someone standing next to the hardcore piece.
Probably, yeah. It'll be something like that. So yes, so you can. So if you work your butt off to get like the mount, which is the hardest one to get.
Of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
How much do you need for it? Is this something beyond the capabilities of
2,000, I think.
Oh, I'll never get there.
I think it was 2,000. Yeah, it's going to be, well, you could get there.
We got about 60. I think we got about 60 when we did it on our night, right?
Something like, yeah, but they had double.
Oh, that's right. They had quite a couple.
They were like a.
Yeah, you're right. They
so you could get there, and I kind of want to see. I'll be interested to see, like, I want to run like a quest with you on normal and see how much experience you get, and then I want to see if the experience that you get for like an elite or reaper is more, because I think that does, because they said that factors in like the level of the quest and the difficulty you're doing at also has an impact on XP. But it's going to be hard to get this Sabertooth mount, which it's the hardest one, which, I mean, I understand it because it's, in my opinion, like the thing to get. It's like the coolest looking thing. I mean, the shield's okay if you like cosmetic shields, and then the pet, whatever, it's just a lantern that follows you around, like who cares. Yeah. And the cloak, I'm not that major into cloaks, but I mean, it looks nice, but I definitely am gonna go for the mount.
No, it's because it fills the lantern in there, and what happens is that when you turn in the lantern, it banks the amount for your total, because the lantern has a certain capacity.
Right. It depends what lantern you pick.
That's right. You're right. The target. You choose your target.
You choose the, yeah. There's the lantern of the pledge, lantern of the order, shield, seeker, keepers. The pledge is the half cloak. The order is the full cloak. Keep in mind that one only advances on reaper difficulty. Right. The shield is, of course, the shield. The seeker is the mount.
Is that a cosmetic shield?
Yes.
So therefore, once you can't use the cosmetic shield until you're all done with lanterns.
Correct. It's just kind of awkward. We're going to give you a cosmetic that if you're going for another reward, you really can't use. That's super awkward.
Do the shield last.
Yeah, exactly. Keep that one for last. And then the Seeker is the Sabertooth mount, and then the Keeper is the Lantern cosmetic pet. So, yeah. So basically you slot the lantern you want, fill it out, turn it in, get the reward, then you can grab the next one and go on and so forth.
All right. And the lanterns are bound to character?
Yes.
Okay.
You can, other than the hardcore version, you can put them in your character bank. So if you want to like take a break or whatever, that's fine. You can put them in your character bank because they're bound to character. You can't put them in a shared bank, but you can put them in your bank.
You mean the bank that never has any free slots in it?
Yeah, exactly. Then again, keep in mind, unless you're doing the hardcore version of the lantern, then that one cannot B-Bank, because that's the one that gets destroyed if you die. So, and then the only difference between doing the hardcore version versus the regular version is the hardcore versions of all the rewards have skulls on them. Woohoo!
Is there anyone who's actually excited about having skull decoration?
A lot of people.
Oh, bragging rights?
Yeah, because it's, and I hate to say this because it's not the new hardcore, and there's a whole issue going on in the forums about that. This is not, and I wish they would have used a different term for the harder, like permadeath version of the lantern. I wish they wouldn't have called it hardcore version, because this is not a hardcore server. This is not trying to replace the hardcore server. I mean, technically it is, but hardcore might come back. They said it's not like they're done with hardcore. This is just something they're doing. They might go back to hardcore. So I wish they would have used a different term instead of hardcore. Just called it like permadeath or something. I don't know what they would have called it, but I think the issue wise is they called the difficult version, the permadeath version, the hardcore version, and that I think upset a lot of the player base, because there was a lot of people that loved the hardcore permadeath servers. One life, you're done. You die, you die. People love the hardcore server, and it kind of rubbed people the wrong way that I think they called it hardcore, and people are like, this is not hardcore. Go on the forums, you'll see what I'm talking about.
No, there's always a Pierce and everything.
Yeah, but so I wish they would have called it something else. But yeah, but I'm excited about this. I just wasn't sure what your thoughts were going to be if you.
Well, yeah, look at it. There are only two other rewards that look, because I don't care about cosmetic shields because I so rarely use shields.
Right, exactly. And that's I could care less.
I'm not too much about cloaks either.
Right.
Especially considering that the longer cloak requires you to.
Yeah, that has to be done in Reaper. So
I'm obviously not going to be doing. So obviously it must be some very spectacular cloak to show. Yes, I did this all at Reaper.
It looks just like the other cloak, but it has a skull on it.
The Reaper one?
Yes.
Well, I thought the skull would be for the hardcore version.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is. That's what I thought you were talking about. Sorry. Yeah. But
the Sabertooth mount could be interesting, but that's 2,000, and I would presume that it's about 1,000 for the lantern pet.
I didn't look at that one on the preview, so I don't know. I just because I just had slotted the mount one because that's the one that I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So I didn't look.
Yeah. Maybe because I always forget about mounts that maybe I'll just go for the magical lantern pet.
Yeah, and that one, let me go back to the patch notes. So that one, the lantern is medium to fill. So it's not like too difficult, but it's going to take you a little while to fill it. So
it's going to take longer than the, what was it, 500 for the...
Yeah, the half cloak is the easiest one to do.
Yeah. And
then it goes, the half cloak is easy. The shield is medium. The cosmetic lantern is medium, and then the longer cloak is long to fill, only on Reaper, and then very long for the mount. So that's like the order of difficulty in how much XP you have to get to finish the lantern.
Maybe what I'll try is I'll go for the Lantern of the Keepers, the cosmetic pet, see how this worked. If I never fill it, obviously that's going to show you how I feel about that thing. But maybe when I do fill it, assuming I do, that then I can make a decision. All right, do I want to continue on this server or not?
True.
I guess that's probably my best. Probably when I try to think though, when I'm with you, maybe I'll take the Sabertooth one.
Yeah, gonna say maybe that's one you can try to get the Sabertooth on, because that's the one I'm gonna do. So
yeah,
I'm gonna actually like the character that I went with Beaker too. I'm gonna do the Sabertooth on that too. So we'll see which one I get to first.
That way, if I get any XP buff items, potions, stuff like this, I could just send them to the character I do with you, so that
there you go.
I could get at a faster.
There you go. So yeah, I was just curious to see what your thoughts were, because because I knew kind of like your play style and like how you're not really that much into cosmetics and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know if he's really gonna be excited about this event or
I'm
not.
more into cosmetics in Lotro than I am in this.
That's what I kind of thought. So
But I do usually have a pet.
yes, that would, and I guessed correctly. That was the only thing that I figured you probably would be more excited about would be the pet, because I know you always have a pet out when we're playing.
Yeah, but then having a mount that, well, if at a glance I forget is not a Sphinx.
And that Sabertooth looks so freaking amazing too. Oh, it's so awesome. I want him so bad.
All right, so that is what we've got coming in here. We'll see if there are any changes before next week, because who knows if there are any other tweaks that are coming in based on feedback, or have they announced any changes that they're planning?
No, I guess we'll find out, because it's gonna go live on Wednesday.
Ooh,
Which
Wednesday.
I was really shocked about. Yeah, Cormyr is arriving Wednesday, 1 p.m. The Cormyr server will be up. So all of this stuff that we just talked about, the preview that we did, you too can experience it if you would like. If you're a VIP, remember Cormyr is a VIP only, fresh start server, gotta roll up a level 1. No 100 million past lives for you, buddy.
Right, because even if you take an iconic, you'll be going in as level 1.
If you want to do the lantern, if you want to do Lantern in the Mist, you'll be going as level 1. Yeah, so we'll see Wednesday. Once again, Wednesday at 1 p.m. the server will come up, and you will be able to get to it if you're VIP from the regular launcher. So it'll just, when you log in normally and you see all the list of servers, you got to see Cormyr on there and pick it, go fight Mist Stalkers.
All right, then it looks like that also that you have a lot of trouble if you're planning on being a party crasher.
Maybe not. It depends which version. See, this is where things are going to get confusing.
Okay.
Because on the 32-bit servers right now, the Quest Party Crashers is closed.
Right.
On the beta test 2, it was open because they fixed whatever was the issue. They never said what the issue was.
Right.
It was fixed, so on Cormyr, I assume it will be open. I don't know about the regular servers because Update 70 is also coming out Wednesday too for the regular servers.
I'm assuming it's a fix that they did in Update 70.
I would assume so.
Say what it is, so
I would
assume
so because we don't have Update 70 patch notes, but I'm assuming all this stuff we're about to talk about will be null and void Wednesday when the servers come back up from Update 70, but we'll know for sure when we see patch notes. So keep that in mind. But all of this stuff was in the beta for Cormyr and was fixed on Cormyr, so I'm guessing Update 70 on Wednesday, when Cormyr comes up and Update 70 comes out, this stuff will be fixed. But anyway, no party crashers right now. So if you listen between now and Wednesday, I'm guessing no party crashers for you.
And your second least favorite quest is also one of the ones on the list of ones that are currently unavailable.
Indeed, Ogama's Song in Myth Draenor is currently unavailable as well. I hate that quest.
I don't know, because that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. We'll talk about that more. We're gonna do probably maybe 2 weeks. We're gonna do our review of Myth Draenor, but little spoiler for that review. I hate that quest.
How do they officially pronounce? Because I would see when I look at it, I would pronounce it as Ogama's Song, and you speak it's Ogama's Song.
I say Ogama. I don't know. I can't remember if the DM in the quest ever said it. I don't remember. I hated the quest so much I was blocking it out of my memory. So I don't really know.
Okay.
I'll guess have to pay attention next time I run that on.
But I mean, you're never going to run it.
Probably not. Or if I do, I'm going to hate every minute of it. But, there's that.
Oh, you'll make sure you have me in there to do all the puzzles.
Indeed.
Or Beaker.
But from what Cordovan said last week, you can skip most of the puzzles, I guess, and still do the quest. So there you go.
Well, because because I believe the main quest only requires 3 rooms, and the 4 rooms is for the optional. and that the other 4 puzzles are for the optionals.
Right.
So that could be what they're talking about. And I think there's one other puzzle in there which, yeah, you could also skip in there. But I think there are 3 that you're going to have to do in order to be able to complete the quest, I would think.
So anyway, but once again, I'm assuming update 70, all this will be fixed. So just keep that in mind. Once again, if you're listening now, the Wednesday, this is probably null and void. But here we go.
Right. All right. Then I would presume then if you're going to the store sales, they'll also be null and void on Wednesday. Thursday.
On Thursday, yes. So you have until October 24th to take advantage of the store sales. You can improve your character, 25% off your stat, skill, and UMD tomes of heroic and epic learning, Harper Agent enhancement trees, once again through October the 24th. Get yourself a free moderate heal potion. You can get 10 of those with the coupon code, which this, I think, is the best coupon code they have ever had. Better than bandages. Just like it sounds. Better than bandages. BETTERTHANBANDAGES. Better than bandages. My suggestion, this is just my little humble opinion on this. Keep in mind, the Cormyr will be up on October the 23rd. The store and these codes will work on Cormyr. I would save this code and use it on there because you're going to need healing because you're going to start on a level 1 with no Uber characters. You can't transfer anything over, so you can't just like, oh, I've got 1,000 heal potions on this other character. So I would use it, save it. Don't use it now. Wait until Wednesday, but use it before the 24th and get it on Cormyr is what I would do if it was me.
Okay. Well, yes, I am sure that I will dutifully forget the whole thing when
you tend to forget about heal potions a lot.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of the times you're always asking me, how are you healing? And I'm like, I'm taking a potion, man.
Yeah, I very often forget about those healing potions.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't have an Uber character. I'm used to playing without an Uber character, so they're there.
Right.
Anyway, I do remember, though, that when I'm playing a Artificer to splash down one of those heal potions, because I...
Oh, yeah.
That spell, but since I do tend to take Anshu materials, so because I have that, I don't need to have a heal potion in order to cast that spell.
True. That is true.
All right, so let's see what's coming in from the dungeon. Where I have heard that just as when we had the original 5th edition come out, where they gave hints in the DM's guide that we were having a return of Ravenloft, that now that there's another famous world that's being hinted at in the 50th anniversary DM guide.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Greyhawk is definitely going to be in the new 2024 DMG. They are giving you the framework to build your own adventures in Greyhawk. They're going to give you all the stuff that you need. Hasbro Wizards did say there is going to be no Greyhawk product on its own.
Oh, okay.
So I am so confused. Then again, the great minds at Hasbro Wizards, what are you doing? Why are you like hyping all this up and saying, oh, hey, Greyhawk's going to be the DMG. We're going to give you everything you need, but you're going to have to make it all up yourself because we're not going to do jack after this.
Really?
I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. But yeah, so if you're excited about Greyhawk, they're going to give you everything that you need. They're going to give you, it's going to present Greyhawk as a central hub for adventures. You're going to get some maps, some locations, and they are going to give you some sample adventures that take place around the city of Greyhawk. It's going to give your DM everything that he needs to build off of that and build other adventures in Greyhawk, but don't expect Hasbro Wizards to do anything else with Greyhawk.
So we're not going to be expecting a new edition of the Slavers or anything like that?
I doubt. Well, you're never going to see that, but for various reasons that I won't
Okay,
go
you
into.
got a point there. Yeah, there's probably several reasons on that. You got a point there.
Indeed.
Right, against the Giants, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we might see that maybe. I don't know. So who knows? But yeah, so if you're excited about Greyhawk, make sure your DM gets the 2024 DM's guide, because they can build off of what's in Greyhawk, and you can have your own Greyhawk adventures. You're just going to get anything official coming from Hasbro about it, because, Hasbro.
Okay. Now, speaking of Hasbro, I heard that there is going to be a vinyl album from the Forgotten Realms.
This is so weird. But yes, indeed. There is going to be a Forgotten Realms vinyl release. It's called Bardic Inspirations, A Magical Journey Through the Forgotten Realms. This is composed by Michael Gatt. Hasbro says this is a sonic exploration of the iconic Forgotten Realms setting. What can you expect from this musical adventure, you might be asking yourself? A sweeping tour of the Sword Coast, unexpected instruments and textures, a spellbinding 40-person choir, and stunning visual packaging with the vinyl and the cover. So there you go. This is just weird to me, but okay. I mean, I'm excited because I'm a vinyl person, so I mean, I'll.
And this is going to be only on vinyl, or are they going to have it on other formats?
So far, they've only said vinyl. I would assume it's going to be streaming as well. Like, you could probably get it on Spotify, Apple Music, all of those places.
Yeah, it sounds very weird to have it only on vinyl.
They've only announced the vinyl, though. They haven't said anything about streaming. But yeah, it would be stupid not to have this on streaming, though.
Okay. Maybe it's to get the vinyl people excited as they were finishing it up or something like that.
I am sorry. I read further down in the press release. It will be on streaming with a Dolby Atmos version as well, if your stereo can handle that. So yes, it's streaming and vinyl. I didn't notice that before. This will be available this fall. No expected date. The vinyl is going to be a double vinyl. So I'm guessing MSRP probably about $50, because that's usually double vinyls are usually running anywhere between like $49.95 to $69.95.
Right.
So I'm guessing that's going to be MSRP, but they haven't really said more. I'm excited just because I'm a vinyl person. I will probably end up buying this and hate every minute of it because I hate giving Hasbro money, but here we go.
Okay, then let's go and find out what we have on the tabletop. Where we have a temporary solution, I guess, to the strike.
Yes, the Dockworkers strike that we talked about that was screwing everything up, not just Kickstarters, but a lot of things, has been temporarily ended. Lasted 3 days, so there's that. They temporarily agreed to go back to work. They got a 62% wage increase over the next 6 years. They still have the issue of automated systems and all of that to work through.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that is a huge one. So this current contract that they signed for this to temporarily end is going to end January 15th. So hopefully between now and then, they can get the AI stuff worked out, and we just won't have to worry about another strike. So we might be talking about a strike again in January, but we'll see. But for now, at least, everything is back to normal. I know a couple of the Kickstarters that I had that was kind of in limbo because the ship was just had no place to go. It did actually make the dock, so it sounds like they got everything worked out. It just took a couple weeks to get everything worked out.
Yeah, the one I had that was delayed from the bridge disaster, that one eventually wound up and eventually got to a warehouse, and they're getting all ready to prepare the shipping to it. It was in a warehouse in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Then they had to move it out of North Carolina to Pennsylvania because of the hurricane.
Right.
So it eventually did get shipped out, fortunately. But yeah, that took a while in order to get out because first, you had two disasters that had to work around in order to get through. So yeah.
Right, the strike and the hurricane. Good luck with both of those.
Yes. So also, fighting fantasy books return to U.S. markets.
Okay, can we talk some insider baseball here?
Okay.
You shocked me before we started recording.
Right.
Because you were looking at the show notes and you're like, fighting fantasy, what's that? And I'm like, what?
Yes.
What?
It was strange because apparently I did not know that Steve Jackson had this big project outside of Steve Jackson Games that he had done around this time period.
That's okay. That's why you're confused.
Yeah.
This was not Steve Jackson Games, Steve Jackson that did these.
Oh, you said U.S. Steve Jackson on here.
He's the one that's bringing them back. It's so confusing.
Oh, you mean both Steve Jacksons are involved in this?
Yes.
Oh, that's...
Which is bizarre, but yes, that's why it's so confusing.
That's... Okay, so this is the guy involved with sorcery then.
Yes.
Did the original version.
Yes.
Okay.
So now I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. Your confusion is now fixed.
Okay, so
yes.
It's Steve Jackson thing, and it's being brought by Steve Jackson Games. It's okay.
Right, yeah. So this was originally from Sir Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson, British Steve Jackson of Games Workshop. They're the ones that originally had the Final Fantasy books. Now, the U.S. revival is coming from Sir Ian Livingstone and the other Steve Jackson. Steve Jackson U.S. of Steve Jackson Games. It's so confusing. I understand where the confusion lies. Okay. So there's two Steve Jacksons. One of them did the original. This one's doing the revival. It's super confusing. But yeah. So Ian Livingstone is still involved, but just Steve Jackson, British Steve Jackson, Games Workshop Steve Jackson is not involved in this new version. It's just Ian Livingstone.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this anywhere. I did see Sorcery when that came out, and that was around about a year before or after this.
Something like that, yeah.
Because that was 83. This was something like 80.
So we don't know much about this yet, other than they did say there's going to be at least 5 titles that are going to be re-released, and then there's going to be new ones coming out as well. They haven't totally said any of the things. They did say the first 5 books of the 50 title series are going to be made available in 2025, and then the next 5 will come later in the year in 2025, and then I'm assuming in 2026 they'll do the next 5, and then the next 5 is how my guess is they would do it. They're just doing 5 at the beginning of the year, 5 at the end, 5 at the beginning, 5 on, 5 off. So yeah, if you're not familiar with the Final Fantasy I knew I was going to do that. Fighting fantasy books, they're solo game books. They're kind of like choose your own adventure in a way, sort of, but you can play them solo. They're made for solo. You read the book and then you choose what you want to do, and then it happens or whatever. The first book was Fire on Warlock Mountain was the first one. I don't remember any of the other titles. I only ever played like 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, so excited. A lot of people are excited about this. So more information coming soon. They didn't say if this was going to be Kickstarted or anything. It seemed like from the press release I got, it's going to be straight to retail, no crowdsourcing or anything. So I'm assuming it's going to be straight to retail.
All right, I guess we will find that out soon enough.
We certainly will.
Then let's head into the Mythic game. I'm just trying to figure out, is it me or is there a thing about French game companies going under? Because after last year, a couple of years ago with Holy Grail Games going under.
I guess I forgot that they were French.
Yeah, Holy Grail. Yeah, so because that's part of the fiasco of the Holy Grail Games going bankrupt is all these games that are in warehouses, and because of French laws, and then stuff in Canada, and then stuff in the U.S. backers and all this stuff, and the whole thing is tied down partly because of the differences between French and U.S. laws in handling all this stuff. So that's a fiasco. And this Mythic game's going to have the same fiasco.
They have a fiasco in and of themselves. They've been in trouble for a long time. They still have, I think, 6 Kickstarters that are unfulfilled that my guess is are never going to be fulfilled.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I know this from from Rallyman Dirt.
Yeah.
Which
So,
has been
yeah, Mythic, no more. They've been around since 2015. They did some really big games, but I think they just got too big and they just tried to do too many projects at once. And I don't know. We could do a whole podcast episode on just how bad Mythic Games is screwed up. We remember we talked about, I think it was last year, that Come On did pick up, they bought Hell, the Lost Saga, and Anastar from Mythic to actually get those games fulfilled. But they're changing the games completely, and even if you back the game, you still have to back it again. It's a mess. The biggest mess is Darkest Dungeon, which is based off of the video game. It's in limbo and unfulfilled. Nobody knows what's happening with that. Nobody knows what's happening with Monster Apocalypse. It's in limbo, and who knows what's going to happen with it. I did reach out to Privateer Press about that, because Privateer Press is the one that owns that IP. They did not respond back to me. I'm interested in this because I backed Monster Apocalypse, and it was not cheap, so I'm out a bunch of money, and I am not happy.
Yeah, I understand.
So, yeah, this was announced on October 10th in a French publication. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. You can give it a shot if you would like.
I am not going to give it. I know that it would sound probably only slightly worse than what you said.
So there you go. So yeah, so they are filing for what is called liquidation, which to us in America would be bankruptcy. So they're going to close, and basically you're just out of your money. You're never going to get your games. Good luck. Good night. Thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
So there you go. Mythic Games. I won't rant anymore, but yeah, I'm really not happy. But I guess that's kind of the danger of doing a Kickstarter, because there's no guarantee you're going to get your stuff or the company's even going to be around. So I guess it's a cautionary thing to think about who you back. I fought with myself about backing Monster Apocalypse just because it was Mythic, because of all the problems that they've had with other projects. But I'm like, but Privateer Press is involved, so it should be okay. Well, here we go.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, apparently, I have a feeling that Privateer Press is right now as probably having the rug pulled under them as much as anyone else, I would guess. We'll see.
Probably, yeah. We'll be interested to see if they ever get back to me about what they have to say about this, because they've been pretty quiet about the whole thing.
I have a feeling they're still trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
All right, then let's go into some announcement here. Let's hope that this doesn't go into any real wrong things. That is that Warhammer 40K Kill Team starter set.
Yeah, there's a brand new starter set that we don't talk about Games Workshop stuff very much because, let's just be honest, they're an evil corporation such as Hasbro that, we don't want to shine light on them too much. But I gotta give Games Workshop props for this new starter set they got out for Kill Team. This is a great way to jump into Warhammer 40K if you've never jumped in before. It's going to feature push-to-fit miniatures, so easily put together miniatures. You don't have to snip them, cut them, glue them. These are all push-to-fit miniatures. You're going to get 2 squads. Assembly should be quick. So this is a perfect jumping in point to anybody that's new to miniature games. If you've never, you wouldn't have the first clue on how to put a miniature together. These are push to pit, boom, boom, you're done.
And you're not done, just the painting still, right?
Well, if you want to paint them, sure, yeah.
Well, I know that there are some stores. I remember there was one store that when they... Is their league in there? You had to paint.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to play if you did not paint your miniatures.
Yeah. And then this is also featuring terrain, tokens, and, of course, a game board. So it's going to have everything that you need to get started. The rules have been kind of streamlined as well. So, you don't have to have a 300-page codex book on how your armies work. This is a 64-page book for the 2 armies that are in this book. Easy to go. This is kind of following up on the success. They recently had a Hivestorm starter set that just came out, which is another game line Games Workshop has, and that has done very well for them. And this set is kind of playing off of that. It features a lot of the same things that they did in that set. So this is available for pre-order now. You can talk to your friendly local game store to get it, or it is available over on Amazon. Last time I looked, I think it was $134 was the price, so not bad Games Workshop price-wise either. It's pretty decent, and it's got a lot of minis in it and a lot of terrain. So yeah, I'm fairly impressed with Games Workshop for once.
All right, then let's see what we did in our week in gaming. What have you been up to?
Well, a lot of Lanterns in the Mist previewing. That was basically what I did. Yeah, we last week, Beaker and I took a look at preview number 1 for Cormyr and the Lanterns in the Mist. And then after we got done with that, that was on like Thursday night of last week, and then Friday night we did our Cruising with Drac, like we always do over on Beaker's Twitch stream. We did House K stuff, so we did Chamber of Insanity, Lair of Summoning, Ruin Halls. We did all of those. Then we jumped into Night Rebels because I want the bow. I realized I don't have that bow on this new character that over on Kyber that we're playing, so we ran the graveyard to get some keys. Didn't run into the quest yet. We should have enough keys now that we can run all of Night Rebels this week and get the bow that I need. And then last night ran all the Sharn quest with Saphira and Beavis. We were running them on Reaper 1. Remember how I said I would come back to this little patch that they did for game performance was the best thing in the world?
Right.
Wrong. We got into, we were doing part 1 of Sharn. So we did, we had some lag on and off. That was, okay, it's the standard. Yeah, we get lag, you lag for a minute and then you fight, you do whatever. We got into Best Laid Plans. That quest is like the fourth quest in the quest line. It's like the last one to get flagged for the final quest in Sharn. We got into there. Everything was fine until we popped our hirelings out. Soon as we popped the hirelings out, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. Couldn't fight, couldn't move, couldn't jump. Like, if you could find yourself actually moving, you would take 2 steps and then you would jump back exactly to where you were, and then you would freeze again. And like, I died. Don't know how I died. Because to me, there was nothing around me. There was no monsters. There was nothing because I couldn't do anything. But I died somehow. So we're like, okay, that's weird. It just must have been a bad spawn of the dungeon or whatever. So we went out, went back in. Nope. Same thing. So we're like, okay, this is really weird. So we went out, we did something else. Oh, we jumped into Night Rebels. I'm like, so it's like the whole server just like, is there just like a major problem going on with the server? So we jumped over to Night Rebels and did the graveyard to get some keys, and that was fine. There was like, little bit of lag here and there, but nothing crazy. So we're like, okay, weird.
Maybe there was something wrong with the sub server where.
And then, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna jump back over to Sharn. I'm gonna jump in that quest and see what happens. So I jumped in, ran around a little bit. It was fine, no problem at all. So I'm like, okay. So I popped my hireling out and I told them, I'm like, yeah, come on in and come in. It's fine. Soon as they got in and I popped my hireling out, lagged out again. Couldn't play it. The only way we could finish that quest, we had to go out and then we had to go in, and we couldn't have it. Like, I I couldn't have my dark wolf with me. Saphira couldn't have her fighting pet with her. We couldn't have any hirelings, couldn't have any pets. It just had to be the three of us in that quest. And that was the only way we could do it without it lagging to the point where we couldn't even move. So I have no idea what that was. I did bug report it.
Right.
Because there's something, well, like you said, I don't know if it's like the subset of the server that section of Sharn lives in, and it's something to do with hireling AI or something. But when, like I said, but if I would bring my Dark Hunter wolf out, it would start to lag out again. So I'd have to dismiss the wolf. So you couldn't have anybody but actual live players in it. It was so freaking bizarre. So yeah, so I don't know. I have no idea. And then we did, you and I jumped on the Lanterns in the Mist preview 2 then, which we talked about earlier. And then elsewhere, I didn't have this in the show notes. I have to add this. I forgot. In video games wise, played a game called Bigfoot. Play that with Lessa. It's just what you think it is. You are hunting Bigfoot, and Bigfoot is hunting you. So it's like a survival game where you can either have the AI control Bigfoot, or you can have another player control Bigfoot. So we were playing with one of Les's friends, and he was the one that was actually controlling Bigfoot. And then it's pretty bizarre. It's pretty hard. And Bigfoot is like really, really nasty and can kill you in like 2 hits. So it's kind of crazy. So there you go. So that's what I did. So what about you?
All right, I'll begin with DDO, where on my level 8 wild mage, I was running through the Temple of Elemental Evil. So since the last show, I did the 4 nodes, the 4 elemental nodes for part 2 in there, and I ran each of those things. And I was learning the lesson is that the Temple of Elemental Evil is tougher than I remember. I don't know whether either they A, tuned it up, or B, it's because I was running solo on a sorcerer. What do I expect? Despite the fact that I had a wild mage go all the way through Myth Draenor with very little trouble. But the temple is notorious for its encounters, for its optionals that are very deadly, and for its masses of mobs that all come in throughout the same time. So I suspect it's that the temple is pretty highly tuned one in there. And I didn't notice this before because this is the first time I tried to solo with a class where they say, they don't recommend soloing with a sorcerer, right? Because it's a tough class to score.
Well, yeah, that's just a hard solo quest to begin with.
It's a hard solo quest to begin with.
I'm sorry, character, sorry.
Yeah, character, yeah. So I suspect it's because I was on a sorcerer is probably the primary reason it is. So I learned how tough Temple is on sorcerers in there. So I did get through the 4 nodes eventually, though I think the only reason why I got through air is because I hit level 9 just before doing air. So that means I had a level 9 hireling. So therefore I had someone who could raise me.
Yep, exactly.
And so I did get through there. And I also learned that I did not remember, I guess I had forgotten how annoying, and I knew that the air node was annoying, but I think it's because the other thing about sorcerers is that they have the worst saves, I think, of just about any class I can imagine, because I had low wisdom, so therefore I was failing my will save, so I was constantly being stunned.
Well, you can build around that, but sure.
Yeah, I can build it. But
I mean, sure. No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that would be tough if you.
It could be, of course. It could also be the fact that I was playing in Eladrin, and that might have also had something to do with it. So it could.
Possibly.
Together.
Right. Yeah.
My wisdom was 10. I think that was my lowest attribute score.
Okay. Yeah.
So therefore, my will was incredibly low. Now I was constantly being knocked down, and I looked at this, and my balance skill didn't look like it was as bad as I was. Now, I had a decent dexterity, but I think despite that, since I had no ranks in or anything like this, every time I ran to an air elemental, I was being knocked over. So I was constantly being knocked down. I was constantly doing this, and I'm sure I wasn't very good at fortitude saves either. So I have all my saving throws were just trash, and I think my highest one was 6. And as a result of that, it was just frustration going on in there. I said, all right, fine, I am just done with this. And of course, I just went into this. No, I am not even going near Zucketboy.
That was going to be my next question. So, are you fighting Zucketboy? Which I knew the answer was going to be no.
Especially considering that the time that this is going to be posted, the video I was doing on this is going to be posted, will be just before Cormyr opens.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, the next D&D segment I have to do after that is going to be on Cormyr anyway. So therefore, I said, okay, time to... This experiment's over.
And it's a wrap.
So that's what I was doing on my Wild Mage. And of course, I also did the Lanterns test with you. So I did 2 through there because I wasn't sure what level we were going to be working with. So I unlocked it on 2. I unlocked it on the Wild Mage that I was just talking about. And also I did it on the Druid, which is one that I ran with you. So that all worked fine. And let's see, the other thing that we had, I had done the Lantern event the previous week on, I can't remember what character I did it on. But there, I thought, because when the Balor passed me, I thought, oh, okay, the Balor is moving in the other direction. I think it'd be safe to go now. And this is before I figured out how you could easily look around and look at stuff without turning your character.
Okay.
Because that's something I've learned very, very quickly on...
Oh, yeah, you gotta do that in that quest. Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, if you don't do that, you're gonna die if you are not looking in every direction. Make sure that Balor is looking in a different direction.
100%.
So once that was done, so in the second week, I was able to get through it because I was paying a lot more attention to where our mark was. And I did very distinctly ignore that first tablet because I didn't care about that optional. I just wanted to get through there as fast as possible.
Right.
I noticed that you did the... I saw that you did the optional when you were doing it because I saw your video on it. Yeah,
I did. I got them all but one. I don't know where the one was that I missed. I did miss one of them. And
that is strange because I think I get all but one because the one that I didn't get is the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, when I do it on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, whenever I finally get to play Cormyr, I'm going to have to see if I can't try to find all of the tablets because I missed one somehow. But yeah, if you watch that video, the tablets are giving you the whole like backstory, and they're which I think I said this in my video too in the playthrough I was doing. I'm hoping that I'm reading into that, which I'm probably reading into this way too much, and it's probably just wishful thinking on my part. But I'm hoping this means they're going to start bringing in the Domains of Dread for Ravenloft. And the reason why I say that is if you read the tablets, if you go through and read all those, they talk about the Domains of Dread, they talk about the Dark Lords and all of that. Okay. And then...
So are the 5 Fangs...
No, that's something they made up.
Oh, okay. The 5 Fangs that they made up. Okay.
Yeah, that's just made up. And then, because I can't remember if it was Tolero or Severlin, one of our producers did say that we would get more Ravenloft. It might have been Severlin when he was on like Fridays at 4 with Cordovan one time. Somebody in the chat asked him if we'd ever see more Ravenloft content, and he said yes, there will be more Ravenloft content. So I'm reading into that as it's going to be the Domains of Dread. Heck yeah. I'm probably just, if I'm right, I'm a genius and you all are welcome. Well, but if I'm wrong, I never mentioned any of this.
You mean it's possible? Maybe that'll be the next expansion.
God, I hope so.
This entire special event is to lead up to.
That would be freaking amazing is what that would be. Yeah.
But we'll have to see. As for other video games, I was playing a couple of roguelites. We got a demo game that is Iotenjo, which is a similar... I think I've spoken Balatro before on this show.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you have.
Right. So for Iotenjo, think of Balatro, but instead of a poker theme, it has a mahjong theme.
Okay. I saw you playing this a couple of times, and I was going to send you a message and ask you, what the heck are you playing? Because I have never even heard of this, but okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, so it's on a mahjong theme, and so it has some similar ideas that you have into it, and of course everything is tuned to work with how mahjong operates. I don't know how familiar you are with mahjong.
I played like the computer version of it a couple times, and when you
say the computer version, are you talking about actual mahjong, or you talk about the matching?
No, actual mahjong. Like
Oh,
on the
okay, okay.
on the iPad, I have an actual mahjong
Okay.
clone or
So
game or whatever you want to call it.
yeah, app.
There you go. App.
Yeah,
That's
it's
yes.
a yeah. There are plenty of mahjong apps
Yeah.
since they've been.
Yeah, and it's like an actual like mahjong rules. So yeah, I mean I know I don't play it a lot, but
Yeah, and of course, even with mahjong, you've got different versions of it because you've got the Chinese rules, you've got the Japanese rules, you've got the Hong Kong rules, which are slightly different, I think, from the Chinese rules, and then of course you have the American rules where things go really weird.
darn
Yeah,
Americans.
Anyway, Iotenjo tends to use different sets they have tend to be nods to various different areas. So some of them are giving nods to Chinese rules. The latest version of the demo that they have is a nod to the Japanese rules. So there are a lot of special patterns that you could make that relate that are from Japan that aren't that aren't available when you're using the other tile sets, but they are available when you use the bamboo tile set.
Oh, okay.
Because they have these patterns that are traditional in Japan, but aren't traditional in other countries in there. So they give nods to various different regions that have their own little sets in there. And the other one that I've been playing a little recently is one called the Witching Stone. And in this one, I guess the best description you could have is think of Slay the Spire meets Bejeweled.
Okay.
Or maybe Puzzle Quest might be a better one because I think Puzzle Quest had something similar. I can't remember how Puzzle Quest, but I think it operates on the matching thing. The idea here is, though, instead of the 3-match system in here, is that each spell you have has a set pattern of the gems, and that what you have to do is you have to connect the gems for the spell, and so you try to link up the gems in there on the board, and if you do so, that will pass that spell. And the idea there is to have spells that gel together so that your mana, which is the number of gems you could do on a single attack, you can get 4 or 5 spells off with only 6 mana if you have your spells gelling together, because a gem could count for more than one spell at the same time, as long as you do them in the right sequence.
Weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's a weird in there. And it also seems to be taken from Welsh. It looks like Welsh folklore does it, because all the characters in there that you meet, they all have Welsh names. And that was the other one. So those were the games I was playing. Iotenjo and the Witching Stone. And that's it for my weekend gaming. Would you like to send us some feedback? For example, tell us where we've got certain... Actually, it looks like we actually have a featured comment this week.
We do, yeah. It's like we normally don't, but we do.
Yeah, I was just about to go into the whole
I was going to stop you, and I'm like, hold on, there's actually a featured comment.
Okay, well, what is this all about from Jack FBN?
Sure, I wasn't sure how to pronounce that, but yeah. On Twitch, he's Jack Dragon, so we'll call him that.
Jack Dragon.
Yep,
Okay.
this was on the last episode of the podcast. He says, another fun show. Great to have Cordovan on. Also having fun watching you and Evil Beaker on Twitch, although it's so hard not to scream directions at you all. Yeah. That's the fun of cruising with Drac. We just run around aimlessly and try to have fun, and I play DDO badly. That's what we do on Cruising with Drac, but there you go. Then he says, AKA, I'm Jack Dragon on Twitch, which he was in Twitch chat the other night, so that's how I know him. And then he wraps it up with saying, looking forward to that vinyl podcast coming soon.
All right. If you would like to leave us a comment, you could either give a comment on our YouTube video or onto an email. You can send us the email to podcast@ddoplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We record Electro Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. If you'd like to listen to our shows live, you could go to ddoplayers.com/live, assuming it's at any same time of day, right?
It's normally live. Can't guarantee you when it's going to be live, but we're getting better-ish.
Better-ish? I mean... But this is our second show in the same month, is it?
Sure, exactly. No, 3 shows this month.
Oh, that's right, because you snuck that one in with Cordovan when I wasn't looking.
Yeah, which that was unplanned. There's a whole story behind that show. But anyway, so 3 shows this month. Thank you very much.
Okay. So that's all for tonight, and this is Pilot Mules reminding you to quest responsibly.